Imagine that you all had a loved one who suffered a concussion in a soccer game, and due to an improper assessment, they returned to that game and they suffered further to the injury. Well, today I want to persuade you guys on how FIFA should amend their current concussion protocol. In 2018, Brainline estimates that 3.8 million concussions occur yearly, and as many as 50% may go unreported. So a lot of us have loved ones who are playing in the game, children, teenagers, and adults who play for years and who remain at risk. I have personally played for 4 years, and I currently play for the UF club team, and I've done extensive research on the topic, and I've spoken with Joseph here, who's suffered 5 concussions due to goalkeeping. So today I'm going to talk to you guys about the problem, which is that players need more time to be properly diagnosed. And then my solution is going to be calling to the change of FIFA's concussion protocol, and then lastly we'll visualize the benefits and the ramifications of these amendments. Okay, so the problem is that we're having insufficient assessments. Physicians are only taking about 2 to 5 minutes to assess the players, and this is not long enough to assess the severity of their injuries. This can cause long-term effects and careers to be cut short. This is Taylor Twellman. He was a Major League Soccer player, MVP, one of their top leading goal scorers, and due to a concussion he sustained, his career was cut short, and he told Soccer Today in 2015 that his biggest mistake was not seeking medical attention after his concussion. This is Christoph Kramer in the men's 2014 World Cup, and after this injury in the 19th minute, he continued to play on after seeking medical attention, and after that he played until the 45th minute, and after that he couldn't remember what happened. And then, go next. This is a tweet from Chris Nowinski. He is the founder of the Concussion Legacy Foundation, and he has a PhD in behavioral neuroscience. This is from the 2018 FIFA World Cup. He says that the player Matuidi was involved in a collision and taken to the sidelines. He was only evaluated for a whole 2 minutes before clearing him to return to the game, and he lasted less than 2 minutes before collapsing, and he says, "I'm very tired of this." And this is another tweet from 2018 in the World Cup from the same incident. And he says, "Why are we surprised anymore? Christoph Kramer in 2014 World Cup final didn't wake anyone up, and why would it now? The arrogance from FIFA on this injury is a straight, quote, middle finger to every player. Simply pathetic." So if we ignore the problem and FIFA doesn't seek attention to it, we could see players suffering from post-concussion syndrome or PCS. And this can affect their ability to work, their quality of life, and adverse socioeconomic costs, and this was documented in the peer-reviewed journal Long-Term Consequences, Effects on Normal Development Profile After Concussion in 2011. So while this may seem trivial, we can see that even at the pro level there are still problems, and this is why I'm seeking attention to the problem. So my solution is going to be for FIFA to amend their current concussion protocol, so players who have experienced head trauma need to exit the pitch and need to be thoroughly examined for at least 10 minutes. A temporary substitute will come on so that a temporary substitute will come on for that player while they receive their assessment, and then that substitute will not count towards the maximum amount of substitutes for the team, so that the team won't be penalized for that. So in the 2014 World Cup, 81 head collisions occurred, and this actually did prompt FIFA to make amendments, but in Health News article from Reuters in 2018, they discuss how despite FIFA updating their protocol, the concussion management in the 2018 World Cup was, quote, grossly unchanged. And in a phone interview between ESPN and Taylor Twellman, he calls FIFA, quote, pathetic for their lack in concussion protocol, and he's referring to a collision that happened with the U.S. women's national team player Alex Morgan. She wasn't assessed for longer than 7 minutes. So he says that FIFA should be making this move because women play the sport just as much as men. So it's going to bring more awareness and impact to the issue. So of course we can see objections with this. We can see the abuse of substitutes, and this is from Slate Medical Examiner in 2018. We can see maybe players possibly faking concussions so that their team can have more substitutions in the game. Okay, so the visualization. We would actually see more diagnosis because players would be seen for longer than 2 to 5 minutes. They would be properly assessed for their injuries, and we'd see less destructive incidents as players wouldn't be receiving further injury, to their concussion from staying in the game. And if we were to not implement this change, we'd see players coming back into the game and further sustaining injuries and cutting their career short and having really long-term effects from this. Okay, so now that we know the problem, how can we bring awareness to FIFA? So this is an era of social media, so we can utilize this to call for a change from FIFA. So I'm creating a hashtag, protect our players, to bring awareness to FIFA about making this change in the game. And I'm urging you all to do the same with me. So now that we know the problem, we know that players are not being properly assessed, I have the solution. FIFA can make changes to their current concussion protocol, and we can see that it's going to have benefits for the players. They're not going to experience long-term effects, and we're not going to see the loss of careers. I can personally connect to this. I have a loved one who's experienced numerous concussions, so it does hit close to home. The problem with this is that it is a silent diagnosis. You can't see the injury. Personally, from personal experience, I can't feel my injuries for up to an hour to 2 hours after playing. So it's just not enough time to properly assess. So that's the problem with concussions. It's silent, you can't see it, so we need more time to properly look after the players. And I believe that the safety of our players is going to be what comes first. Do you guys have any questions?
Have the players ever sued the doctors after a 2-minute concussion check?
I haven't looked. I'm not sure. I'm not sure that they would sue the team doctor. I'm not sure that they've ever actually sued their team doctor for that. Yeah.
Are there further organizations that might donate money to for the cause?
Yeah, so Taylor Twellman actually started his own organization called Think Taylor, and he's trying to bring awareness to Concussion Awareness Week. And you can donate and you can volunteer to that cause. And there's probably many others. That's just one that I found. Any other questions? Okay, thank you.